Welcome to The Scene from Saline County. The Scene is a weekly talk show filmed in the Access TV studio in downtown Salina, Kansas. The episodes air Monday through Friday at 6 p.m. Each week our show hosts discuss local culture, hot topics, and important issues with local and regional guests. This week's episode, our guests will be Chris and Larry Tawney to discuss the Constitution Bee.
Hi, welcome to The Scene. We're excited tonight. We've got guests from the Flint Hills Tea Party, Chris and Larry Tawney. They're going to talk about the Constitution Bee that they sponsor in March. And does anybody know what tomorrow is?
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
17th.
September 17th, but it's also Constitution Day. So we thought this would be a perfect topic to get us into Constitution Day for tomorrow. So we're going to get that started. The first thing we're going to talk about is Kimmy has got some scary thing about a brain-eating disorder. What is up with that?
Well, just saw a little bit today on the news, and I'm sure everybody else kind of has too. If not, you will, because it's all over. Just in St. Bernard Parish drinking water system, there is a deadly brain-eating amoeba that has seemed to gotten into there. Well, actually, there's not so much chlorine in the water right now, and they're going to fix that. But as a result, this amoeba is able to survive, and it's gotten into the drinking water, and you're able to drink it. Your stomach acids kill it, but you're not supposed to get it up your nose, which has happened to 2 children. Actually, 3. 2 have died and 1 hasn't, is recovering. But it gets into the sinuses where the heat is, and then it just makes its way to the brain.
Oh no. Ryan, didn't you say that if it goes through your ears too?
Yep.
Something about the neti pots?
It can travel through mucous membranes, so you get it
Well,
up
the
your
neti
nose,
pot
you get
is
it
your
in your
nose.
ears.
Oh,
your ears.
okay, that's right.
And
Oh
they
my
say
gosh.
don't use those, and they say, you know, go ahead and bathe and drink it and swim, but just don't let your kids get it up their nose.
Okay,
Yeah,
so your kids
easy.
are playing in the bathtub and the water splashes up.
Yeah.
How do you know? Would it take a lot or just a little bit?
I don't really know. I wouldn't think it would take too much. I mean, it's
I would imagine
Oh my
one
gosh.
amoeba.
microscopic.
is so scary.
But one little boy, a 4-year-old, was playing on a slip and slide.
And then it like went up his
Splashed
nose?
up his nose.
Oh, like in a pool or something?
Oh my
Yeah, you know, you
Oh
run
my
and slide on a
gosh.
slip and slide. So, yeah, pretty scary. If I were in that community, I wouldn't be drinking the water.
I wouldn't
Well, I
be
wouldn't
doing
either.
No.
If they boil it, does that help?
Yes.
So if everybody boiled their water.
Yeah.
So, okay, so why doesn't the city have more chlorine in their water? I mean, why did they change that
Well,
policy?
something happened where they had a lack of it, so they shocked it, so-called shocked it, and they are going to, I mean, they're working on it right now.
And where is this at again?
St. Bernard Parish.
Is that like Louisiana maybe? Because they call everything parishes.
Yeah.
Wow,
That's
that is so scary.
Yeah. That's scary to think because like anything like that could happen anywhere.
Yep.
Like
Yeah.
if it happened here and you don't
You don't know
know.
until you already
yeah,
know.
until it yeah.
Yeah, you could be the first one
Time to
to
deal
find
with
out
it.
the hard
Yeah.
way.
Well, aren't they changing our chlorine in Salina?
No,
Aren't
they're
they
adding
doing
more.
something? They're adding more chlorine to it. Okay, well that should be a nice attractive smell coming out of the faucets.
I'd rather
Yeah.
be that than sewer smell, though, to be
Oh,
honest.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, me too. I've got a water softener though in an RO system. I am so spoiled.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. Ice cubes look like crystals. They're so pretty. They melt faster though. So, okay. Well, you know, it's very sad to hear what's happened in Washington, D.C. today. And
Yeah.
Ryan, what do you know about that?
A gentleman named Aaron Alexis was killed today after he opened up fire from the 4th floor railing of a naval building and shot 12 people fatally. There may or may not be a second shooter running around. We don't know that. We do know that the man had a criminal past and somehow continued to carry his concealed carry permit, which, you know,
See, I don't understand
made him
how it
feel
works.
comfortable carrying guns around from Texas to Washington, D.C. into a federal building where he either teamed up with somebody and used their ID to get in or stole somebody's ID to get in and did what he did. Yeah.
Well, you know, when you have a concealed carry permit, some states reciprocate other states. So if you have one from a certain state,
It goes,
you
it
know.
transfers
But I don't
to
think
next.
Washington D.C. I'm not sure it reciprocates.
Washington, D.C.
anything.
is not a state.
Yeah, I don't think it reciprocates with anyone, but I don't know that, so I don't want to.
I'm not
Well, that's
sure.
so sad. You know, I had heard on the way in that he also, his criminal past consisted of shooting his neighbor, apparently through the ceiling of his apartment to her apartment, and she always said that she thought it was on purpose.
So how does
But
this
he-
guy continue carrying a concealed carry permit
was never
after
charged.
he's shot somebody?
Yeah, but
he was
never charged.
Huh.
He claimed it was while he was cleaning his gun, that it went off accidentally. But she always said that he was a very frightening person and that he didn't like the fact that she was too noisy. And so it's real apparent this guy's had some serious anger management issues.
Yeah, I would guess so.
But
It's scary to think too that they don't know if it was a stolen one or if he has an accomplice. You know, that's
Yeah,
so
they are
scary
looking
to
for a
think
second
about.
person.
investigating that possibility.
Yeah.
They thought there might be up to 3, and one gentleman that they thought was involved, they found out had no affiliation outside of the clothes he was wearing.
Wow.
The shooter was dressed in military-type gear, and the guy that they found that they'd been looking for all day was too.
wow.
So,
But they cleared him.
yeah.
They
They
did.
did clear him. So he had a fake ID because this would be a military installation that would have.
No, it was a genuine
try to get on
ID.
to Fort Riley.
It was either stolen or it belonged to his accomplice, which may or may not exist. They haven't found this second person yet.
Wow.
So it wasn't a made-up ID.
But
like
by
there's
the time
someone,
this airs
wow.
tomorrow
Qualified.
night, there's probably going to be more.
Well, more information
Yeah.
so that
Yeah.
we just want to.
We'll probably be behind the times by the time this airs tomorrow night.
We always are. We're like technology. We're behind before we ever get started.
I think we just gotta make sure to keep them all in our thoughts and prayers. So.
Exactly. Yeah, please know that from Kansas, we're certainly thinking about all of those that are having these problems. So, but you know, going back to drinking water, and this is a little frightening because our First Lady is out there promoting drinking more water. Just one more glass of water would be healthy. And I'm thinking, I would bet the people in Louisiana would want to
think otherwise.
Yeah, think otherwise. So when we come back, I think we'll continue that and we'll talk about drinking water and is Michelle Obama.
Well, hello. My name is Kieran Boger, and the rock concert is way over head heels. We'll be back with more news later. No, we won't. We're still going, lady. Hi, welcome back, and I'm enjoying a nice, refreshing glass of water. So I think Michelle Obama will be proud of me. I'm drinking that one extra glass today. But our First Lady is out there promoting drinking water. It's going to give you more energy. And the specialists are saying she's off base. That isn't what's going to happen. Have you guys heard about this at all?
I haven't.
A little bit about
A
it.
little bit, but I don't imagine that it's going to give anybody more energy.
Yeah.
No, it's
It's
not.
not a bad thing to stay hydrated, and I know that there are plenty of people out there who are not staying hydrated, and that goes a long way to making you feel sluggish and crappy, you know. So maybe she does have half a point that way, but it's
Well, if-
not going to energize anybody.
If those people who aren't drinking enough water, if it does something for them, then good job, Michelle.
Exactly. And that's probably, I mean, like Ryan said, the people that are going to feel better from it are the people that are dehydrated, not necessarily people that drink enough water, you know? So I think anyways, but
Well,
whatever.
there was a renal specialist on there that was talking about how you can get water from pastas, and my mother was on dialysis for a number of years, and so those are things she had to stay away from because she could get so much more fluid that she wasn't able to rid her body, couldn't rid of it naturally.
Yeah.
So you got to be really careful. So all those things are going to give you that. So like I said, though, the people in Louisiana probably would like to argue with her. And then I'm thinking the people in Colorado may not be so excited about drinking water right now. We really need to keep them in our prayers, you guys. That's a terrible situation what they're going through out there. So,
Yeah.
but speaking of bridges being destroyed by, we've got a little situation going on here in Salina about the Greeley Avenue Bridge, and there's been quite a number of things on Facebook today between Randall Hardy and J.R. Clays, who is a state representative, and J.R. is doing a great job defending Salina and not wanting to spend extra money. What I know about this, and Ron, I know you've been looking at this too, so help me out here, but it's now become a walking bridge. You no longer could drive over this bridge. The only people who are going to really use it is during fair time or if there's something really big at the Bicentennial Center, I would imagine.
Sure. Yeah.
Construction cost estimated when this was printed was $600,000. And now they're wanting to add a art project onto it because according to Randall Hardy, it adds to the quality of life in Salina. Apparently he's never driven over one of the potholes.
Yeah.
No. Yeah.
And I've got to tell you, when I go out south of Salina and see the big silver thing that we have out there, the only thing it does for my quality of life is raise my blood pressure. That was a lot of money. That's, $500,000 sitting out there. So I'm thinking, do we not have a better thing to do with our money?
I agree. Yeah. I mean, and like you said, I drive by that every day and never do I even think of it twice about it. Like it's not that, it doesn't do anything for my quality of life, the art that's already out by, what do you call that? By like the Taco John's and Dimer and stuff? Yeah.
Lowe's and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
I've not yet seen this proposed art exhibit, so I can't speak on that. And it's just an out-of-the-way place that, like you said, not many people are going to see unless it's fair time or they're coming and going from the Bicentennial Center. Perhaps they live in the central part of town and they're picking something up from True Value, and they're going to take that bridge to get home,
But you can't drive over it anymore, right?
I don't think anybody's life is destroyed in any way by not having any kind of art on this bridge that we currently can't drive over. So I'm not sure about that statement at all.
I kind of think it's up to the quality of life statement. So.
Yeah, but I was in Wichita over the weekend, and they have Kellogg, just the beautiful scenery. And the more of that kind of stuff you see, the better you feel about your environment. I can see the point. There are places that money needs to be spent maybe first, but I think it does kind of improve the quality of life. It's a feel-good thing. Also on Douglas, they have the bronze sculptures all over the place, and we're picking them out and trying to see what each one is, and wish we had that one in our yard, and I enjoyed it. The artwork down by Dimeru and all of those, it's nice. I was surprised when I saw it, but I like it. I don't know if the city should pay for it. I think it should be maybe funded somewhere else.
There you go. I think
that's a good point.
I do too. I think I'm not against artwork by any means, but we just have so many infrastructure problems that I think that's where our funds, they just raise our taxes, and so I think they need to be able to spend that money wisely and show us a good cause what we're doing and something that's important for the Salina. Did anybody hear about the lockdown at Schilling Elementary School this morning?
Just what you told us, but that's so scary.
Somebody out in that area apparently poured gas on themselves and left their home, threatened to set themselves on fire, and they locked down the elementary school, not knowing if he was going to show up at the school or not.
Sure, safety precaution.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a good idea.
And then we had Gracie Stewart was burglarized, and the parents weren't notified until they picked up their kids. Do we need to be more proactive on that kind of thing? But that's something we can talk about next time on Hot Topics. So stay tuned for our guests, Larry and Chris Tawney. Thank you.
Vidrickson Distributing Company, proudly serving the Salina area since 1963. 1825 Bailey Road, Salina, Kansas 67401, 785-827-2386. beerswithboone.com.
Hi, I'm Randy Russell with Solutions for Life. Did you know that 35 million Americans are without life insurance and another 58 million Americans say they don't have enough life insurance? When I mention life insurance to someone, the answer is sometimes you can't insure me. If you've been turned down for heart trouble, COPD, diabetes, or just overweight, call me today to discuss your options. Don't put this off another day. Call 404-6664.
Randy Russell and Bob Reynolds of Solutions for Life have over 34 years' experience in helping retirees find the right Medicare plan at affordable prices. As insurance agents that work with over 50 insurance companies, they can shop and compare plans side by side to help determine which Medicare plan is right for you. Randy and Bob know Medicare backwards and forwards. They take pride in the service they provide and the savings they bring to their clients. If you have questions or would like their free report, Choosing the Right Medicare Plan for You, then call 404-6664 today.
Hi, welcome back to The Scene, and we have been joined with our guests Larry and Chris Tawney from the Flint Hills Tea Party out of Manhattan, Kansas. So welcome, you guys. We're glad to be here. We are going to talk about, I've already told them that it's Constitution Day, and several people didn't know that, other than Larry's birthday. So it's something important. And one of the things that we want to talk about is a Constitution Bee. Yes. I've heard of spelling bees, math bees, English bees, but a Constitution Bee. Why did you guys get started on a Constitution Bee?
Well, we decided to, back in 09, the Flint Hills Tea Party, which was formerly known as the Manhattan Tea Party, decided that that we needed to do something for scholarships in order to mentor the Constitution, because if we don't follow up with the Constitution and try and get that information out to our students, perhaps it is not being conveyed, especially through the high school years and that, to give that information. And so we thought maybe a Constitution Bee would be a good way to go.
Sure.
I think that's a great idea. How many years have you been doing it?
This will, coming in 2014, on March the 3rd, that's going to be our third annual bee. And so we just dug down and decided to do it and jumped right in.
And is this something the teachers are really encouraging the students to do? Have they gotten on the bandwagon pretty well?
Some of them have. Some of them we wonder whether or not they take the information and actually get it back to the students. We are doing this basically as a grassroots and taking this information to the students and to the parents, and hopefully the school will go along with us. They are the good resource for helping get that information to the students, but at the same time they can go ahead and do whatever, but we are separate from the schools. We do not.
I think you make a good point when you said that, especially in high school, that the Constitution's not really taught. Because I remember when I was in grade school that we did learn a decent amount about the Constitution, but once we got into high school, I can't remember learning anything about the Constitution hardly at all. So I think that there is a big difference.
And isn't it sad?
Yeah, it is sad,
the closer that they get to where they actually have to use the Constitution to determine their votes, that all of a sudden they're not getting that information any longer. And it does seem to be that it is the grade schools where it ends, and particularly the middle schools. And so we thought this is a good way for us to start to.
How are you getting it to the schools?
We basically have a letter that we send out to the guidance counselors. In fact, that letter went out on September the 13th, went out to 410 different addresses, and hopefully, and now visiting with you all, again, that's going to be another avenue, but we try to encourage anyone that has some relationship to the tea parties at all, or just in general. We talk it directly to each one of the people.
Which types of students are eligible to participate?
Public school, private, military, Also, homeschoolers are highly encouraged. So we try to reach all of them, and from 9th through 12th grades, and they are eligible to participate.
Nice. And how often do you guys meet?
The board itself meets at least once a month, sometimes a little more frequently as we get closer to the B.
Okay.
And we do, we have a 7-member board, all volunteer. Nobody has a salary that we have. All the funds always go to preparing for the students in the Constitution Bee itself.
Nice.
And where does the money come from that you give away? Because I know you've given away some pretty sizable scholarships.
Yes. We give away $5,750, and anyway, we have done that from the get-go. And we worked the K-State football games 2 years in a row. We did Tent City, and then also moved into a bigger concession to where we worked that as a fundraiser. And then this past year, this past summer, we worked the Riley County Fair.
Cool.
And did the concessions there. Also private donations, and we have had some sizable donations that have helped us. We're always looking for some extra funds, but we do have all of the scholarship money that has been awarded for 2013 and the money that's awarded for scheduled for 2014 is already locked down.
Nice.
And,
That's awesome.
and anyway, but now we need to do a little bit of growing as far as what we need to do for the bee itself, the venue and the receptions and all of the materials that go into getting that ready to go.
Now, Larry, how many students actually win at a bee?
We have three main awards, and then we give out kind of a gift. Unfortunately, the bonds and stuff, we would have given bonds, but the government has closed that down where you can't gift a bond anymore. So we try and make a grab bag of books, books, tapes, and just things that they can use. And we have a woman that's in our group and stuff that, one of our members and stuff, that sews the bags, patriotic bags and stuff that we give away. And there's about $100, a little bit more than that, in each one of the individual kids that they can take it home. And usually it's historical videos and stuff like that that deals with the Constitution. We give away mainly books like the 5,000-Year Leap that basically shows how our forefathers formulated the Constitution of the United States. They won their independence, and then we were all individual states, and then we united and that's how we formed the Constitution. We had Articles of Confederation, and they got together to amend those and ended up scrapping those and doing the Constitution of the United States. It's just as an interesting process that we think the kids need to find out about.
So all the kids that enter get one of these bags to
Yes.
take home, but then how many actual students win a scholarship prize?
There's three. There's the top prize is $3,500. The second prize is $1,500. And the third prize is $750. And we've been consistent with those.
And these students can win year after year?
You bet. You bet. We've had students come back that have won the year before. Of course, they didn't win, but they're coming back and competing tells us that they're interested in it. And we really have been blessed with a quality group of contestants. I mean, some of the letters and stuff coming in, these are really, really great kids across the state.
So what happens if, no one had ever heard of this and really doesn't know much about the Constitution, but then they do hear about it through their counselors and everything and decide to do it? Is that okay, even though they don't really have a huge background in the Constitution or anything? Can anyone do it, or?
Anyone can apply.
Okay.
Anyway, and so it does not have to be someone that is their focus is on history. It can be anyone that maybe they have found a love of the Constitution and realize that they want to spend a little extra time trying to study it and go from there. And so, and maybe their forte at participating in the school may not be what the Constitution and this avenue is, and maybe they will excel higher in this avenue.
That's a good point. How do you guys select them then? I know they have to go through, I'm reading here, they have to go through an application process, and then the applications are reviewed, and then the participants are selected. How do you choose which ones get selected?
Well, we've been blessed so far. We haven't had to do any real hard selection at this point, but we do have people ready to go as far as a committee to eliminate some if we have to, if there's a process. But so far we have been able to invite all of the applicants to participate. And unfortunately, some of them have other commitments and or get cold feet, because I think sometimes they think, well, this is like a spelling bee, so they're going to have to stand up and answer these questions in front of the camera, in front of the audience. But they don't. Majority of the questions are done by writing anyway, and so they go through.
That would sure make it easier.
Yes.
A whole lot easier. Although it'd be pretty fun to watch too.
Yes, it would.
So how many applicants would you say you get? Or probably a different number each year, but is it growing?
It's growing.
It is growing.
Good.
It's not growing quite as quickly as we'd like it to do, but there's a reason that we have to go through this growing phase. Anyway, the first year we had 16 finalists, and the second year we had 17 finalists that participated. And so out of that, there were 3 winners each time. So.
But we had more people apply.
Right.
But like she said, they have other commitments come up, and it is a statewide. So some of them, look at that long distance drive and stuff, and kind of take themselves out of it. And stuff. So but we've had a consistent number that stay in.
How does elimination work?
Elimination is done by a set of questions. Some of them are multiple choice. Then some of them, that's first round, second round, most of them have to be answered, and they get a little tougher each time. And then the final question is the 3 finalists are announced after the test. It's a test, and the top 3 are picked, and then we take them out and we don't tell them what we're going to ask them, and basically they have about 15 minutes.
5 to 15 minutes.
5 to 15 minutes, depending on, and then we seclude them and give them that time to think about what they're going to answer for that final question.
And they all get the same question.
They all get the same question.
So this is kind of like an ACT arrangement. So it's just a table with students taking a test and on paper. And
Right.
Yes, and it varies anyway. Basically, they get the judges go through and they get to eliminate down anyway, and so it gets down to the final 8. We do continue to keep all the students active in the process, because we feel that is our goal is for learning.
Sure.
Anyway, and so let's go through and answer the questions. So no one knows at what point they've been eliminated, but there is a final 8, and then it drops down to the final 3, and that's just for the ease of the judges.
Okay.
And they will drop down. They stay focused, and one of the other goals of our education process is the audience. So basically, the audience gets asked these questions too.
Cool.
Okay.
And anyway,
But they're not tested, though.
Yeah, they're not tested so far. But we may put that wrinkle in there at some point in time, perhaps. But they get to see the questions after the students have gotten their questions and they have moved to the second one. And there's true, it's challenging. It's true and false, and they true and false and the multiple choice, like Larry said, and then the short answers.
Okay.
And
I think it'd be really interesting to see what these schools are doing with this information.
yes.
Well, that's what we would like to find out too, because like she said, we sent out about 410. That's what the mailing was this time and stuff, and that's to everybody. And we know we probably missed a few, but that we go with what we can, and then we get those back. And we really are, this year we're asking the grassroots people to step up and stuff. If you got a son, a daughter, grandchildren, that stuff that are in 9 through 12 through Kansas, please feel free to enter this contest and stuff, because the competition is really some of the cream of the crop of Kansas. These
I bet.
kids.
I bet they're a really nice group of kids that are
They
doing
are.
this.
Well, and I've been fortunate enough to have been to the first two, and some of the guest speakers you have are dynamite. I can't think of the guy's name. now.
Joshua Charles.
Joshua Charles. I was trying to tell you about him.
Yes.
He was incredible, and he's what, 24 or something?
I think so.
He's an awesome young man, and so what a great mentor for some of these younger people, and even for me. I was just totally amazed at some of the great things he had to say. But we're going to continue this conversation when we come back from our break, so please stay tuned for The Scene and with Chris and Larry Tawney of the Flint Hills Tea Party.
Well, hello. My name is Kieran Boger, and the rock concert is way over head heels. We'll be back with more news later. No, we won't. We're still going, lady.
Welcome back to The Scene. We're talking to Larry and Chris Tawney of the Flint Hills Tea Party and the Yes for Liberty Constitution Bee in preparation for Constitution Day tomorrow. So the first thing we'd like to talk about is some eligibility requirements. So Kimmy, you had some questions on that?
Well, yeah, there's a little handout here, and of course I get to read them, but I think it'd be something great if they were able to tell the viewers what the eligibility requirements are.
Okay. Well,
You want to do that, or
Yeah.
do I?
Whichever
They're
you
fairly
prefer.
simple and
Yes.
stuff. It's 9 through 12. Any student in Kansas and must be a legal resident of the United States, and that's for private, public, and homeschooled, and military, and anything else that's out there that you can get an education through and stuff. And then the recipient must be planning to attend an accredited 2-year. And we've also added trade school to that because we know that some people that love the country are going to go and get a job.
Yeah.
But if they go into the military and stuff, it'll be there when they come back. Or if something else happens in their life and stuff that we set it aside and it's theirs.
Oh, so they don't lose the scholarship?
They don't.
I think
They
that's
do
great.
not
That's
lose the
awesome.
scholarship.
That's really good.
It is theirs. They have won it,
awesome.
and the board discussed it, and things do happen in life,
Sure.
and we feel that they should not be.
And so homeschool kids also, I think that's neat. And how do you get out to the homeschools?
We try and reach out to the homeschool networks, and anyway have put out the information. Some of the representatives in the state of Kansas are on the homeschool network, and anyway have given out that information directly. And we just keep trying to get the message out there. We do it by word of mouth as best we can, and continue passing it forward and bringing it to everyone's attention.
Well, and something else I think is really neat is you have these the Constitution of the United States.
That's it. That's what they
Booklets.
have to study.
I think that's
It is
cool.
the Constitution in your
That's
pocket.
really cool.
I'm going to keep this.
pretty
This
cool.
is
Also has
neat.
the preamble, which most of us didn't even know. I just have a question, because I'm going to try and embarrass the crew here, but how many of us have ever read the Constitution? Have you ever read it completely?
Nope.
From front to
I
back?
haven't.
No.
Not completely.
Not
See,
once.
I had not until about 4 or 5 years ago. You know, that's embarrassing to say.
I've read the Bible from cover to cover. If I can do
me
that, I surely
And this
can
is
do
a whole
this.
lot easier to read, you know.
Yeah.
So, and then we're fussing at our legislators.
Probably
but they
not
haven't
as
read it
easy.
either.
I mean, it's probably easier to read, but just as hard to understand.
Well,
Which is this?
this was written for
That's
the
pretty simple.
Well, I was just
This
kind of
was
thumbing
written
through
for
this.
the ordinary person, and that's
Yeah.
one of the things that we need to come back to and realize that the Constitution isn't this legalese that everybody wants to try and make it out to be. It is simple. It is written for the simple person. It is written for the person that was in the fields and that. And one of the reasons that we picked this Constitution, anyway, I'm real glad that you enjoyed it, was the fact that this one when we were handing out, Larry had a real good explanation.
Oh, when we started this, it was the Tea Party, the Manhattan Tea Party and stuff morphed into the Flint Hills Tea Party after Manhattan and several other areas got it. I think we're about 7 counties, and actually all across the state of Kansas. We have members clear from both coasts now, and north and south, and somebody is even keeping track of us in Australia, so kudos to them. I don't know why Australia's got to worry about their constitution, but I really believe that we do. We found that one of the things that we were going to do as a Tea Party, we were going to honor our soldiers coming back from Iraq and Afghanistan. And we found out that these young men give the oath, but don't have access to a Constitution of the United States, which they swear to protect with that oath. So we started handing it out to soldiers coming back, well, just any soldier. We feel they all need to, and we really got a lot of that. And then some of our members were studying the 5,000-year leap, which our forefathers, it basically breaks down how we came up with the Constitution, our forefathers did. And after that, we decided that we were educating ourselves, we needed to see if we could educate others. And it just morphed from that. So it started with our soldiers, and then just we moved it on up to our kids.
And the reason that we picked this book was because we found during that process, as we were researching it, that there were differences among the books. This one from the National Center of Constitutional Studies, which is nccs.net, is the only one that is proofed word for word to the original documents that is in the archives of Washington, D.C. And that is the key element. It is proofed word for word, including the spelling, the punctuation, and capitalization. And one of our astute members of the group picked up on some misspelling and said, Chris, there's a problem here. We're handing out stuff that isn't spelled right. Anyway, I go, no, that's how it is with the document. And so that is one of the reasons that we consider this our gold standard. This is the one that all of our participants get this in their invitation packet after they send in their application. And they do send in their application. We turn back around. We will notify them on January. The application process ends the December 31st. And then by the 17th of January, we will notify them that they have been accepted. And we send them out a packet and hope they come back and decide to participate.
So obviously your judges have to be pretty knowledgeable on everything Constitution related. So how do you guys go about finding them?
These are people that hold the Constitution near and dear to their heart. They don't necessarily have to have a lot because we do give the judges the answers. And anyway, so they have this, but they are very astute in the challenges and hold dearly the values and principles of our founding documents, and that is one of the main criteria. We've had representatives. Former Representative Charlotte O'Hara has been one of our judges in the past. Also, Paul Ebbetson, one of our radio personalities that does a lot of research, and that he has been one of our judges.
And Paul's
also
been on our show,
yes,
actually.
Yes, fantastic.
Well, and then we also have, as we were setting this up and stuff, we had met a constitutional lawyer who has argued before the Supreme Court and been in Washington, D.C. to testify on the Constitution, and he's been our judge a couple times and stuff. Basically, we just ask people that have a good background in this, and they jump at the chance. They, we really are blessed with the fact that we have people that they see that our Constitution is under assault today, and they want to do something, and that's how come we're growing in the way we are, I think.
Well, we definitely need people like you, because if we don't get those people that are passionate about the Constitution, then like you said, in like 20 years from now, no one's going to know anything about it, which is really sad to think about. So.
Yeah. Yes, yeah, it really is, because everything's changing so fast, and I think that the thing that we need to be afraid of is when we hear Constitutional Convention and those kind of things about, there is, from what I understand, there's a Constitution that has been rewritten, that we have some people who are just ready to put it into place. And not having read it, I don't know, but I certainly don't think we need to replace our Constitution. It's worked really well all these years. But I am going to ask a question. I want to find out if people are always talking about separation of church and state. Is that in the Constitution, true or false?
Very, very good. Very.
Well, you would ask a tough
Yes, yes. Very tough. Yeah, leave it to Brenda. It is basically, it is not understood in the same way that everybody is making it out to be. The separation from the church, it is the protection of our right to
Worship.
practice our faith and worship as we see fit. It is not the elimination of shutting down a person's right. It is basically the rights to worship is our freedom. And
I think it says in there, and I can't quote you which article, but it's in verse 13, that the state will have no religion. Like England has the Church of England and stuff, and our forefathers decided that was enough, that there was no set governmental religion, and that's why they let it open to we the people. The biggest thing is we the people. That is what the Constitution is for.
Yeah.
We the people. So it is our document, not the government's. It is our document, and it basically gives us the right to pursue life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Which, it's that.
it is Amendment number 1. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press, or of the right of the people to peaceably assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. That the Constitution is to protect our God-given rights. It is not rights that are given to us by the government. It is the protection from the government. And that is one of the things that we have got to continue to instill in people, we the people. It is protection from the government.
Okay, well, before we get out of time here, I want to make sure that people that are listening know how to contact you guys. So if you're wanting to apply, you need to apply to FHTP Educational Fund, and by December 31st, and they have a website. So for more information, you can email info@yesforliberty.org, or visit the yesforliberty.org or constitutionbee.org website. That'll give you the information that you need so that you can apply for this scholarship. And I encourage you, this is free money, guys, just a little work, and you can get some awesome scholarships. College is expensive, and it's also a great learning experience. So I want to thank you guys for being here.
Yes, thank you.
I'm just amazed at the quality of young people that attend this. And
I learned a lot from you guys being here, so I appreciate that.
don't you wish you were still in school and you could
I
apply?
kind of do, yeah.
Not really.
Yeah.
I'd rather sit here and learn about it, but
No kidding. I'm more like a sponge. I'll just absorb the
Yeah,
information.
exactly.
I don't know if I could learn all that anymore. So anything else you'd like us to know? We've got just a few minutes left, or a few seconds actually left to
Okay.
Well, actually, we'd like to thank our members and stuff
The donations.
for the
and
donations and stuff, and
volunteering
for volunteering for what we talk them into and stuff.
well,
Great
I'm
group of
sorry we
people.
are out of time. So, and we do want to thank you for joining us. Have a great week.
Thank you.